Okay, a little preview as to what it will look like in a few weeks, but actually we're only doing the sky today. Galaxy sky.
Neat.
So excuse me, I'm going to get a new canvas. Let's make it 8 by 10 maybe. And I'll leave that at 350. And then I'll just say, okay. First thing I'm gonna do, let me go ahead and show on my layers here that if we take off all the fancy stuff, boop, boop, boop. And oops, I guess that's part of this guy. I did not mean to put that on the same layer. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do is fill it in with a dark sort of purpley blue and have a brighter blue in the center. So over here, let's grab, why is my color not working? Open here. A very, very dark purpley blue somewhere in this corner. Please move this window away from me. What? I did. There's no window. Goodness, Zoom yelling at me already. So I'm going to fill it up with that color. In fact, let's go a little darker even. Like that. Then I'm going to get my pencil tool and my airbrush tool. And I'm going to make it huge, like 2,000 pixels. And I'll move my color picker up to a brighter blue and give myself a diagonal stripe, and I'll give myself a diagonal line, a little bit brighter center. And then in the corners, I'm going to paint absolute black. So I'm going to drag it down into that lower left corner and just put a little black in that corner and a little black in this corner. And then, get this window out of the way. I'm going to give myself a new layer by clicking my little new layer button, or else I can go up here to layer. And is it add? I think it's add, yeah. I'm going to call this one Cloud 1. And to make this cloud, we're going to use a new brush, the particle brush. So down in my list of brushes here, I'm going to try to find particle. If this window isn't showing right now, let's say it's closed, you just go up to your window and click on brush, and that'll give you your list. I'm going to move this one by clicking and dragging all the way to the top, since I'm going to use it a lot. Particle brush has a bunch of settings in the brush control. And again, if you don't have this one open, you just go to window and you make sure that brush control has a little check mark by it. Scatter strength, we're going to put all the way up to 100. Particle size, we'll just start out in the 20s and see what it's like. And then all this other stuff you don't have to worry about. I'm going to choose a bright sort of magenta pink. And I'm going to see what this brush does. And you can see that it gives all kinds of little dots, all kinds of little spots. If you increase the particle size, let's say up to 70s, you're going to get bigger dots. If you take away the particle random and take it down to 0, you're going to get the same kind of dot. In fact, let me zoom in so you can see this better.
What is that brush called?
Particle brush.
I don't know how to select different brushes like that yet.
Oh, in your Clip Studio one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but when I do, I will be certain to put it in my lessons. So if I put the particle size up and the random at 0, we get the same dot over and over. But if I put the random all the way up to 100, we'll have some small dots, some big dots. There'll be all kinds of different sizes. I'm going to take that back down into the 20s and start just tapping my tablet so that I get little groups of these bubbles. And back up so I can see here, and we're going to make like a big galaxy cloud. So I'm just doing short strokes. I'm going to do a wiggly little cloud thingy. We don't have to worry too much at this point, because it's all going to get blurred up anyway. So there's my first squiggly little cloud, galaxy particles. I'm going to go to Filter and Gaussian Blur. And then I'm going to move this slider, make sure that your preview is checked, otherwise you won't see how blurry it'll get. And I want to make it blurry enough that I can't see the individual dots anymore. I want to make it very, very blurry. Mine got up to 21 to get this sense of blurriness. So that's my first layer. I'm going to do that again. Make a new one, call this cloud 2. Why is it going on a different layer? Because we might want to adjust the layer and we don't want it to affect anything else, so we have to separate it. This time I'm going to get more of a purple. And I'll do the same thing using my particle brush. Oh, I don't like that purple as much. Let's put it down here. No, I don't like that purple either. Let's try it here in the middle. There we go. So I'll get my purpley brush and do kind of the same thing, adding more clouds, more particle dots. You can change the particle size smaller if you like, or a little bit bigger, maybe in the 40s. And we're going to make some abstract shapes for more galaxy clouds. And maybe I'll get some brighter pinks in there as well.
But you said blur, right? Is special kind of blur or just regular blur?
This one's called Gaussian blur, but it might just be called blur in other programs.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Nice.
Uh-oh, I did something wrong. I need to know.
Oh, not a blur, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going to blur this one a little bit less, like that. And because my computer's on very low battery, I'm going to save my work so far. Galaxy sky. And then I'm going to get another layer. And I'm going to call this one stars. Actually, no, I changed my mind. This one's going to be called glow. I'm going to make this space cloud glow a little bit more. I'll get my regular airbrush from my options over here. Take the size down from 2000 to a little smaller, maybe about like that. I'll pick pure white and I'll change my layer blending from normal to overlay. And then I'm just going to brighten up a couple of spots with my airbrush. And the brighter spots will probably look closer to us. And it'll make the less bright spots look farther away. If you want to see what this is doing normally, this is what I'm doing. I'm just making these white blobs on certain areas, and then when I turn it to overlay, it's going to make those areas brighter and more colorful. So I use it sparingly, just in a few spots. If you do the whole thing, it'll just be the same amount of glowiness again, and there won't look like there's any bright areas. Save that. I'm still getting messages from my computer saying there's a problem with my battery, so my computer might shut down suddenly. If that happens, I will come back momentarily. Oh, Zoom. Oh, online classes.
You're in class. You're getting anything? Juice, Hindu.
I'm good, thanks.
RM.
It's fine either way.
You leave the door open?
No, wait, close the door, yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll give you snacky snacks. All right. We'll call my phone if you want anything.
Okay, thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Then I'll go ahead and get a new layer. Call this one stars. Oh. And using that good old particle brush again, I'm going to change it to a very light blue, not pure white. Let me zoom in here so you can see a little better. I'm going to take my particle size way down to like maybe 18. And again, I'm just going to tap to add some stars in here, and I want to cluster them together. I don't want to draw a line because that doesn't look very much like stars. So I'm just going to tap in a couple places. Add groups of stars. You'll see a little bit of color variation. If you don't want that, you go down here to color jitter and you turn it to 0 so that it won't shift the color at all. Go around, put some clusters of stars. You can always back up and take a look at how it's going. We are going to blur this also. You don't have to worry too much about it looking too spotty. These are going to be all the distant stars way back there. Take down the particle size even more. Put in some smaller stars. Just short little taps. When I press harder, the stars are brighter, and when I press lightly, they're faint. If you want to get rid of that, let's see. Global settings, brush control. I don't actually know how to do that. But it's good practice for controlling the amount of pressure that you use. So I've got little bunches of stars everywhere, and I'm going to do that same thing, going to filter, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to blur them out a little bit so that they're more distant. And up at the opacity setting, I'm going to lower that so that they're a little more faded. That's going to be our first layer of stars, way in the distance. And then next we're going to do some bigger close-up stars with some little light flares. Let me make another new layer and call this close stars. I'm going to get my regular pen, set it to about 6, and check out the size. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to turn on my grid that goes straight up and down so that my drawing can only go horizontal or vertical. I'm going to make little plus signs My twinkling stars. You don't have to follow the grid. You can draw anywhere, and the grid will apply, giving you only perfectly vertical and perfectly horizontal. There's some science to why stars are like this, but I don't know what it is, so I'll Google that later. You can make big ones, you can make small ones. I'm trying not to put them evenly all over the place, but kind of scatter them around here and there. I'll enlarge my pen a bit so that if I want, oops, maybe not that big, a little bit of line variation. Don't forget to zoom out every once in a while to get the overall feel of where your stars are. Put a big one there, little one there. And when you're all done, you'll just come back up here to where it says snap and turn that off. And then we're going to add some glow to these stars as well. In fact, I'll take my glow layer and I'll just move it up above the stars. Get my airbrush, bright white. Zoom in on some of these stars here, and I'm going to take my size down to where it's just about as big as the star, and I'll give it a little bit of glow just by drawing tiny little circular motions around each and every cross star, every little plus sign. The shortcut to move around your canvas is you hold down the space bar, it'll turn into a hand, and then you can click and drag. Or you can always use your little red box over here in your navigator and use that to zoom around your picture as well. The glow will be brighter on these blue areas and not so bright on the black areas. We might use a different layer to brighten up these stars over here.
Huh, okay.
Not too hard, right? Just a lot of repetition. Ooh, so now we got a much more 3D effect with some glittering stars. And if you'd like to add some regular kind of just circle stars, we can get maybe in a size 8 pen. And you can come in here and also just put in just little circle stars. Oops, I'm on my glow layer. I meant to be on my star layer. You can draw little round ones. Or you can go up to this menu right here where it says freehand, and you can turn it into an ellipse, and you can draw little circles that way. The only thing is with the ellipse, it almost starts looking like snow after a while, not so much like stars, but it's nice to have options. I'll add some on my close star layer too, so that they're a brighter white, and you can change the color up here to a light blue or a light yellow. It doesn't have to be just white and blue. You can do pink stars, purple stars, and then go through and add a few more. Some artists will just like completely fill the sky with stars. Crazy amounts to where there's almost more stars than there is sky. And if you like that, by all means, go ahead and do it. You can copy and paste your star layers a couple of times. Move them around.
Want to see what I've done?
Yeah.
Hold on,
Let me stop my screen share.
Yeah, this one I messed around with because I couldn't find like a particle thing, so I just found a decoration pen.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just something that'll make something that looks kind of cloudy.
Yeah, it's kind of it. The decoration. Hold on, let me see. The decoration is kind of just like just like stars like that. So it has
Yeah.
a bunch of blurs.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I tried it. I couldn't find the thing that makes everything straight, so I just kind of did it on my own.
Yeah, that's what I did the first time too, where I'm just like, I don't know where the grid is, so I'll just I'll just draw in some stars. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, this is my attempt anyway.
It's a good attempt, especially with using a different art program where all the tools are different. Nothing is the same.
Thanks.
Good effort. And it's a nice background for if you're doing any kind of, like, not necessarily an astronaut character, but you know, like Jetsons or Astro Betty, or basically anybody who's got a story set in space.
Yeah.
Putting them on a white background, make a little galaxy for them. I think I've got enough stars. But let's say you get this far and you go, oh, I don't like my colors, or I want to change something. That's why we have them all on separate layers. Let's say I want to change my cloud color. I can click on my cloud layer, go to filter and hue meaning colors, and I can slide this, whoa, to make a second color or a different color come through. Maybe I like that blue better. Maybe I want it not so bright, or I want it brighter. These little sliders, you just slide them back and forth, see what they do until you find something you like. I think I'm going to probably stick with that blue. Actually, not the nice blue. I might want to do it for this other cloud also. So I go up to my filter, hue, and start sliding around the hue slider to change the color. Maybe I want this other one, ooh, to be yellow, kind of gold. Say okay. With my stars, let's say I like, they're kind of blah, all being the same color. I wish I could apply some kind of gradient or some fading colors. That would be nice. You can. We just have to go to protect alpha. Protect alpha meaning we're protecting our pixels so that we can't draw any more pixels than are already there. I'll go to my foreground background option, linear or circular, doesn't really matter. And then I'll pick two colors, maybe this bright yellow, and then maybe like a dark red, just so you can see what it's going to do. I'm going to drag diagonally, and you can see my star clusters turn kind of red up there and kind of lighter yellow down here. But I want more galaxy type colors, so I'm going to go get a blue and maybe a purple, and then change them like that. So I have some pink stars down here and blue stars up here, and maybe make them a little fainter so they go into the background.
I do not know where that option is in this program.
I know I gotta learn some Clip Studio, then I can say like on Clip Studio, it's gonna be in your
Yeah.
Next time for sure, I will have that figured out. Oops, my one star here did not become a true plus sign. It's only half of a plus sign. Go in and fix that. Close stars, make sure you're on the right layer when you're doing, whoops. Make sure you have your pen tool when you're doing that stuff. There we go. And there we have our galaxy sky, and next time we'll add some planets like this one to our galaxy.
I like the colors you chose.
Thank you. I was looking at some outer space, like real outer space photos, and I noticed they've got a lot of pretty blues and pinks and purples. Oops, weak one already exists. Do you want to replace it? Sure. Save my galaxy sky. about it for this week.